the meeting. Thank you very much for making time for this this evening, folks. Nice to see you again. I would like to start off with an approval of last month's minutes, which you've all gotten a copy of. Any comments, questions, adjustments to the minutes? Okay. Well, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion. This is Colleen.
Okay, Colleen.
I'll
and,
second.
Very good. And Bill Mancini.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody opposed? Very good. Okay, so that's taken care of. The next thing I wonder that I have on my schedule is the any movement or any action on the countywide Solarize community solar campaign. Who would like to pick up on that? Kara, did you have anything?
David, you want to go or David?
Pardon me?
We'll do it.
Or David?
Kara's probably got the latest numbers, but I know that we, thanks to Astral Neighborhood Sun, have exceeded the 25 now, probably by a wide margin. And the towns that are working with the county, the 5 towns, are also making a lot of progress. I know Germantown in particular must have at least 10 for their NYSERDA grant. It's unclear. I don't think the county will actually get a grant. I think we may have missed the boat here just slightly, but we did. We haven't confirmed that yet, so that's too bad. But we continue to sign people up, and that is what's happening with Astral Power or Neighborhood Sun. Nexamp has been a little bit more tricky to get finalized in terms of the agreement with the county, but I believe that's happened now, and they will start to take subscribers soon if they haven't already. I haven't checked in the last couple of days whether the county website is updated with a link to them, but I just would like to say Astral Power and Neighborhood Sun, Kara can give a quick update, but they've been terrific partners, and materials, events, very proactive and very easy to work with. So we appreciate that. And we haven't yet released a press release or done a bunch of the things that we expect to do in the coming months, and that will, I'm sure, yield many more subscribers. So I don't know where we'll end up, but we're just kind of getting started I think on the right foot. Kara, do you want to add anything?
Sure. Well, there were 4 towns that were piggybacking. So town of Claverack, town of Germantown, Ghent, and town of Kinderhook. And all 4 towns, last I checked, have submitted their at minimum 10. And I think most of except maybe Kinderhook, I think most of the files, and Ghent has a couple stragglers that came into, but I think Kinderhook ended up with 10, and then Germantown, I think, is up to 16, and Claverack is far beyond that. And Ghent is still going strong. There was an email that went out, I think, on Friday to the Ghent Dems, which really made an impact, I have to say. I mean, I was in Maryland all weekend fielding emails and taking calls, and it was good. I think we're up to 84 enrollments. Now, all of those enrollments have not, some of the folks have not completed their sign-up process, so they either haven't sent in their National Grid bill, which we need from National Grid subscribers, or they haven't finished signing the agreement. But I've been keeping close tabs on all of those stragglers. I've sent emails to notify them that they can reach out to me, kind of a blurb about simplifying what community solar is, an explanation on with instructions on how to sign up, and also a sample utility bill. So I've been keeping in touch with a lot of folks, fielding a lot of phone calls, and yeah, so far so good. I'm pretty happy with.
Kara is tireless.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Always
tired.
present, always working. I know that's not true, but it feels like she's always there, available when you need her.
All right. The Basilica folks had a Earth Day celebration yesterday, and there was a person from what was
Neighborhood zone. Yeah.
neighborhood, yeah, son there presenting for the community solar. So he had all the right materials with it. And the city of Hudson last week passed a resolution endorsing the city's involvement as a solarized community.
Great.
So now we need to fill out the scoping document, and we're just beginning to get organized around that. So
Great.
we'll be catching up at some point.
And just so you guys know, we at Neighborhood Sun, Astro Power, neighborhood. I'm adopting the name Neighborhood Sun. Put out a press release. It was picked up by Solar World Online and several really big solar industry-wide news outlets. So we were pretty pleased with that. And it mentioned Oya Solar and the Climate Smart Communities Program and the task force. So I was very pleased with how it was picked up.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll inspire a few other communities. John.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention we did submit for our grant, and I have to say that Kara's been just super. And a problem that we ran into frequently in Claverick is we have, I think, 5 different zip codes that cover part of Claverick and somebody else, and so that was challenging. But from what I could tell, Kara straightened it out and was really helpful with a lot of our people who got stumped. I don't know if anybody in our town, at least among the first dozen or so, actually succeeded in getting on, filling out everything, submitting it, and completing it without some help from somebody, usually Kara.
No, you'd be surprised. There were a lot, but the one thing, so this platform that we have is called Sun Engine, and it's not, our New York projects are not fully integrated into that whole platform. So that's why we have a landing page from Astro Power leading people in kind of like leading them into the sign up through a back door, because if somebody just went to Neighborhood Sun, they would see very limited information about New York. So that's kind of, we have to kind of tailor it. But John, as per your comments about signing up, we have a whole team that is now gathering over the next month to simplify the enrollment process. So you have triggered some growth internally on our end. So I appreciate it.
Well, you guys have been terrific. I just want to make sure it's on the record how much help you were, and we submitted for our grant last week, and so we're in the running. But we thank you a lot.
You bet.
Great. Okay, thank you. Let's see, we have been talking about climate smart communities work in the various towns, as well as our work at the county level. I'd like to hear if any of the members of the town committees for this program have anything that they'd like to report? Colleen? Colleen, are you muted?
Sorry.
Or, there you go.
Sorry. Yeah, so since we last met, Ancrum submitted the application for bronze certification, so we're just waiting notification whether we hit all of the proper points, and we've already started compiling all our information for our greenhouse gas inventory. So we're working on that as well.
Wonderful. All right. Keep up the good work. Rick?
So the town of Chatham is close to signing on with, bear with me one second here, I just got to call up the notes here. With one of the providers that the county has approved. So all of the town's utilities will be part of the Solarize program, and that's forthcoming if it hasn't happened already.
Okay. Bill?
We have,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry, Rick, you have more.
I do.
Yeah.
There's a repair cafe coming up that's being planned, and it looks like they're starting to market it already. And forgive me, I don't have the date in front of me, but
May 14th.
beautiful. Thank you, Bruce. On Solarize Chatham, NYSEG is behind on the billing, which is causing some angst. The committee's trying to follow up with them, and NYSEG sent out a notice, but they haven't really fixed it yet. So there's still a little angst around Solarize Chatham in that sense. And we're looking into setting up battery recycling boxes in the town. I think the transfer station, unfortunately, has been ruled out, but we are looking for other places, including town hall. And the committee got a letter on the solid waste plan approved, which I think we're going to address later in the meeting.
All right.
That's what I got.
Very good. Bill Mancini.
Well, I'm reporting for the village and the town, I guess. Oh, by the way, Paul Green was approved by the Board of Supervisors for a representative from the village of Kinderhook on the council. I don't know if Paul's here tonight, but
I don't see him, but
yeah, okay.
I'm sure we'll get him.
I did let him know, and we'll see. Anyway, Saturday we had an Earth Day event called Dash for Trash, which was in collaboration with the Kinderhook Runners Club. And for an hour, we had 30 people competing for beautiful handmade ribbons from maps of the world. I wish I had a copy to give you. There's Paul. And I was contacted today actually by someone from Valatia, and they want to collaborate with our committee in the village with the town and the village of Valatia in working together finally after 7 years. So
That's
got
great.
some people doing it. I'll see how that works. I'm going to have a meeting with them on Wednesday. We're using some of our funds from the community solar grant to purchase a ADA compliant water fountain for the village square to eliminate the use of plastic bottles that people walk around with on Saturday. And that's about it.
Wonderful, wonderful, great stuff going on. Bruce, did you have contribution?
Just a couple. We have a few things, but one of the main things is we've established as once a month we have a pop-up repair cafe that's been really successful. It's very simple. We just do lamps and sewing and some gluing, but we've done 2 and we're doing another one this Saturday. And it's really simple. It's only about 2 hours. We repair 6 to 8 things, but it's just been really successful. There's been good buzz about it. So that's been really good. And then not under Climate Smart, but our CAC working with with Gretchen, we have a proposal in our town board now for critical environmental areas for cool ravines and the warm springs in New Lebanon. And that's going to go to a public hearing in May, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be approved. And so we've defined four critical environmental areas in our town. And if it's not it's a designation that comes from the state, and it's just an awareness of the special nature of the feature. And so that's something I'm very happy about.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
Marvelous. Okay, thank you. Now, I assume with the pop-up repair cafe, you have a regular bunch of people who have, decided that they're going to show up every month to do the fixing.
Well, we have a different roster and we alternate different people. So like the one this week, only one person's going to be the same as the one in March. So we have like 4 or 5 people, but it's simple things. It's not nothing like the big repair cafe, just a lot of sewing and a lot of lamps. Those are the 2 main things that get done. So,
okay.
but there's a lot of
worth
people
something.
happy about it. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And you keep the idea of the repair cafe going in between
exactly.
the bigger events.
Yeah, and it lures people to. I mean, we have a really nice farmers market, and it's sort of our only grocery store. So it's sort of a combination. It helps him, and he is happy to have and it's great for us because it's a great location. So very good system.
Okay, Colleen, did you have something else to say, or is your hand just still up?
It was actually still up, but I forgot to also say that our Climate Smart Community Task Force is going to be partnering a little bit with the Rojan Library. They're doing some programs, and we're going to actually probably do a little bit of our composting program with them. So we're getting, some additional community support from other organizations.
Great. Super. Yeah, the libraries are all ready and open to collaboration on environmental things. They're all set up for just that sort of thing. Kara.
So the Town of Austerlitz Climate Smart Committee that just received bronze certification is now working on a government climate action plan. And we were awarded last year an ICLEI membership. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with ICLEI, but it's an international group that NGO that helps local governments achieve sustainability goals. So we're going to activate our membership, and they've actually given us a deal on 2 years. So we'll probably take them up on 2 years of membership to do the government climate action plan. And the other thing that we're working on at the town level is a comprehensive plan, and with that to include an NRI for the town of Austerlitz in the comprehensive plan. So
Super. How did you get awarded this membership?
I don't know. I don't know. Paige knows. It was. I'm not sure. I can find out and let everybody know. But
sure. Yeah, I'm familiar with ICLEI. They do wonderful work, and if anybody can get their assistance on these things, that's worth a lot.
I think it came from the donor that gave the town of Austerlitz a grant for a project coordinator last year. It came with an ICLEI membership as well.
Got it. Okay, good stuff. David?
Yeah, I wanted to just mention the county composting program is now live. So you can bring, residents can bring compostables to the solid waste facilities in the county, and they will be composted. So that is pretty exciting. I haven't actually been over to see what it looks like, but I don't know if anyone has, but that's something that the county's been working on. And then I just had a question for Bruce. You said the critical environmental areas, if that's the correct term,
Yep.
Are basically recognition with the state. What's the kind of thought with how that does it help bring people to see them?
No, it's more an awareness if on the planning board. So like if you're going to put a big apartment building there, you say the planning board has to consider that. It's basically an extra consideration for planning board. What I'll do is I'll send everybody links to the program and
Great.
an explanation of what a critical. No, it's basically an awareness when you make decisions about development in areas. So
Thanks.
it's not to lure people to them, but that's a good idea.
Super. Carol.
Question, Tara, you're talking about an organization called ICLEI? I just want
Correct.
what's the spelling on that?
ICLEI.
Mm,
Okay, then I can look it up.
They provide technical consulting to local governments to help them meet sustainability goals.
That's great. Yeah, I'm in Gallatin and we are working on our comprehensive plan while we've been doing surveying. And we're gonna try to embark on an NRI in the near future, but we've got to get the comprehensive plan done first. So we haven't been focusing on the other environmental issues that are going on at the other towns in the county so much. You know, we haven't really been looking at the climate smart yet. But just to let you know, what's been going on down here.
great. Well, Gallatin has a pretty good reputation in the environmental category. Well, I mean,
We
from
can,
friends of mine that live there. So
oh, yeah, well, we have a great team down here and we did an Earth Day, like trash pickup. We have a small piece of property that we're calling, the town called it a conservation area, but it doesn't really have any conservation limitations per se. What I mean by that is it doesn't have any statutory definition of conservation area, but it is a stretch of property along the road jam where people can go for a hike. It's just a small piece of land that surrounds a retired landfill. It's actually kind of interesting. There's a lot of wild, like the spring flowers, there's a lot of wild ramps down there right now. And it's a nice little spot. So we put a walking trail in as a little local spot. And I guess the Conservation Advisory Council were stop them from putting in pressure treated decks along the stream. Just, you know, it's our one conservation area in town, so we didn't think pressure treated decking would be a very good idea.
okay, great. Thank you. Paul Green, welcome to the Environmental Management Council.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. I wonder if you would like to introduce yourself briefly to the rest of your counterparts.
Yeah, I'd be glad to. So here in the village of Kinderhook, been here about 30 years, and I'm a practicing environmental engineer by day, chemie by background. I've spent my whole career in the energy, waste, infrastructure, power generation, composting space. So I of late been doing a lot of renewable energy work. So it's a busy time, but thought I'd join here and see what everybody's up to and how I can bring value. I'm here in this 200-year-old beautiful money pit of a house here in the village of Kinderhook with my wife, and raised our children here. They're down in New York City now in Brooklyn. So we're empty nesters in our pretty farmhouse here. We get around the county. I golf down in Gallatin. We worship over in Spencertown at a Presbyterian church over there. So couple of hardcore Columbia County folks, my wife and I, wife of 37 years, I guess.
All righty.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining our group here, Paul. We'll be happy to delve into your skills as time goes on.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So, John, would you like to say a few words about the work you're doing in the zero waste, and a word or two about the county's 10-year solid waste plan?
Okay, I'm actually going to be brief. Myself and several other people in our zero waste group spent some time looking at the plan, and I wrote a 2-page letter. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail now. Chatham also passed a letter and submitted it. And my thought, when I told Michael, I didn't want to be sort of the main person talking about the plan, but there are some very important things about it. And it had some serious deficiencies. We feel that, we have some ideas about what a plan should be, and I don't think there's much disagreement about it, about the kinds of goals it would have, and it's a roadmap, and it provides a data framework, and it helps educate and inspire. And rather than going into it now and talk about the detail of our letter, it seemed to me, and I discussed it with Michael and Rick a little bit, that it would make more sense to share with the group our letter. And Rick agreed that would be appropriate he can say a few words to share the Chatham letter. And Michael might consult with Jolene, and then we could have a broader discussion next month, because we don't want to be critical of Jolene. She's doing terrific things. And she has, I'll call it, the burden of history with the county, and solid waste has changed a lot now, and it's important, I think, that we have a pretty good understanding of what a plan should do, and we want to provide support to Jolene in the future so that we're doing more than just having a plan that is compliance, but helps her and others in the county, set goals and help get us where we want to go. And so that seemed like a better approach, to have a discussion next week and sort of not talk a lot about it right now. So maybe Rick has a couple words to say too, because it's great that Chatham actually took action. We're just a group of individuals in the zero waste group, and so we haven't even started a zero waste group within our Climate Smart, but we plan to. So let me just stop there, and somebody else might comment.
Rick, did you have contribution to that? You're muted.
Sure. The Town of Chatham Climate Smart Committee put together a letter to Jolene that they then ran by the town board for approval, and the town board approved the letter. And so I believe the letter made the deadline. And, a lot of what it echoes a lot of what John said, but it points out specifically the lack of data, particularly on the waste stream once the community has received it and where it goes. And so there's a pitch in here in this letter for the county to spend some money tracking the waste stream and generating that data so that we know where it goes. Let's see if I can, I'm looking at the letter here, sorry. Yeah, and that's primarily, they couched it very nicely, of course, in the letter, but the main point of the letter was we really don't have a good grasp of what's going on with waste generated in Columbia County after it is received by the Carter or the county.
Okay. So an argument for more transparency on part of the process.
Yeah, and spending a little money to generate some data on where the waste goes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. So, all right. Um, thank you very much. I would like to call our friends from the county health department, Tara, to see what we should be aware of at the county health department.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Tara.
Hello. I got an email from Tom from DEC. I cannot pronounce his last name. Crew. I'm not even going to try it. It's definitely a difficult one. But he was sending a preliminary monitoring schedule for the upper tributaries of the Taconic Creek. If you hadn't heard previously, I submitted an application on behalf of the council, and our application was accepted as one of the stream site monitoring locations. So they're planning to do monthly samples starting in June. They're going to sample once a month. He's got here the week of June 6th, July 4th, and August 1st, and September 5th. So there's going to be 4 sampling events this year. And they're going to include macro invertebrate sampling. He says when it gets closer, he's going to decide the specific day. I don't know if he's going to email every time they get a specific day, but he gave the coordinate locations of where they're going to sample. There's 3 different coordinates. I didn't plug them in exactly, but we could. And then he said once all the data is received after the sampling season, they're going to upload it to a data monitoring portal through the state somehow, which I guess we'll get instruction on how we can go and look at it. So that came from him the other day. So they're getting off the ground with that. On the perfluorochemical front, we had another detect at the New Lebanon Junior Senior High School. Their most recent sample now, because they have to monitor monthly because they had a detection. Their initial was 11 parts per trillion. It's gone up to 90 something since the last sample. Where and why, we don't know. The state health department has recanvassed that area and sampled about 8 or 9 residences that they had done previously. They went back out, they sampled again, and they're not finding any detections in any of the homes around that area, fortunately. So we have some limited funding available to do some of these public water supplies. So we reached out to the town supervisor and offered to do the wells there's 2 wells in the town park. There's one at the ball field concession. There's one at the town hall that also serves a pavilion where there's a children's camp. So we were concerned to make sure that well was not contaminated with kids going there to use it this summer. So those samples were collected, I think 2 weeks ago. So it takes a few weeks to get the results back on these, but so we should know what's happening there. And I also found out the Allied Health Products site in Stuyvesant Falls. There was a town resident in the area that was just inquiring about any perfluorochemicals that we were aware of in that area. And that came to mind, but I reached out to the state, and apparently they've just now collected samples for that there. They have some other contaminants in the well on that site location that they're working to remediate, but they hadn't tested for any of those chemicals yet. So that might, come to be that they've got some of that contamination there as well. So that's on that front. The COVID cases are ticking up a little still. Today we had 62 cases. That was since last Friday. 5 people are hospitalized. Fortunately, there has not been another COVID-related death since March 3rd or 2nd, I think. So we're still holding at 141 in the county. They're continuing to do the COVID booster vaccinations for folks every Thursday at the college from 3 to 5:30. It's all vaccines, whatever anybody wants to get. And it's anyone that's age 5 and up. We just heard from the CDC that the children under age 5, they believe they're going to start offering the Pfizer vaccine to that age group in June. So we may be going out, to last time the way we did it was we went to the school districts because it made it easier for parents to bring the little ones to us to get their shots. So we might be doing that this summer. We have our first rabies clinic for dogs, cats, and ferrets coming up the Saturday after next, and it's at the Greenport activity, or I'm sorry, not Greenport, Germantown Activity Building at Palatine Park. And that starts at 10 a.m. So anybody's welcome to come to that. And I think 10 a.m. is cats, 10 to 11, and then 11 to 12 is usually the dogs. Try to keep them separate. And I think that was all I had. I did want to mention Carol was talking about a trail that was being put in her town. And I came across the other day, we do have some of those tick warning signs. You've probably seen them around. I think the Land Conservancy has them at all of their trails, but they're just warning signs about ticks. They're metal, big yellow, so if anybody in any towns needs that for any of their parks or trails where they don't already have one, I've got some in the office. So just reach out and I'll find a way to get it to you. You drop it off at the town hall or wherever. And I had a question for David too, while I'm thinking of it. He mentioned the composting for the county, and I wondered if the residents at some point will be able to pick up compost. Will people be able to get that? Because I'm thinking that might be an incentive for more people to partake in the composting if they can reap the benefits of it too.
David?
Sorry, I missed the first part of that. Are you saying, Tara, that the county composting program, you're asking about whether people will be able to get compost from the county?
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, the county's working with GrowMax and a couple other, which is in Claverick or Philmont, and a couple other farms. I think there's a farm in Germantown they're going to start working with, where they'll be sending the compostable materials to those facilities. So they're not, they won't actually be composting themselves and making it
Oh,
available.
I
There could be some opportunity. It's a good point you make, and I haven't heard any discussion around that, but we certainly could raise that question. Is there an opportunity to at least let people know how they can get compost? But I mean, there are various providers of compost in our area. We're very fortunate.
Yeah.
Hudson Valley Organics. There's of course McEnroe. There's a bunch of commercial composts that are readily available.
Including GrowMax, just as a
And
Yeah.
GrowMax. Yeah.
right. So and at those levels, the typical way to get compost is by the bucket load.
Right.
So pull up with your pickup truck and dump a half a yard of it in the back and take it home. So certainly it's already available. The question is whether there's some sort of feedback loop with the county residents in that regard. I haven't
Right.
heard any talk of that potential part of the process.
I know the town of Slingerlands, I think it is, has a nice composting facility that's run by the county. So, all of that collection, you can go back there eventually and get compost that they've made or mulch too, which is really nice. My father-in-law used to go up there and partake. So it's nice. It comes full circle and it makes people feel like they've contributed to something that they're gonna to get back. So maybe, at some point in the future.
Yeah, the city of Hudson has a smaller scale composting, which would operate at household level, that you can bring down a few 5-gallon buckets and bring that home, rather than have to wait for a, or get a vehicle suitable for a front end loader. So, Christian, you're muted.
In the right place. So on the county and composting, there is some old history when they attempted to do something that would be publicly available. And the whole thrust on this particular program now is that it's all going commercial. So it's finding people who will accept taking on processing this stuff, and their reason for doing it is their own gain. And so what the county residents get out of it is knowing that their material gets composted, that they're doing something good for the planet, so to speak. There's no personal gain available.
Yep. That's the incentive. Carol?
Yeah, wanted to circle back to Tara. Thanks for the offer on the tick signs, because we have a signpost and we have room to put, we have a place to put it. And the other thing, you were talking about water sampling. There's the Rojan Watershed Group. Are going to be doing a number of water sampling along the Rojan. Actually, if anybody is interested, I think the sampling goes up, into Copeg, maybe Hillsdale. But that water testing is E. coli and turbidity. I think they do it at Bard. So I'm wondering if there's a way to get some of the water tested for some of the other items, or a way to partner up on that. I don't know. This seems like, we got volunteers taking water samples. So I don't know if you're aware of that group. But,
Yeah, I get their emails. I know I got one recently. They said they were looking for volunteers to go out and do sampling.
Right.
But I'm not aware of, I don't know where the funding for it comes from. I don't, the stream monitoring that we were selected for was a specific DEC program, and they were targeting unassessed streams. So they were looking for, trying to narrow it down to in your general area into the watershed, what would be most advantageous, I guess you could say. So we went with that stream segment because it feeds a major public water supply. But yeah, I'm not sure additional funding available to do more samples than they do in the Rojan already.
So this is Colleen from Ancrum. I'm actually on the watershed group for the Rojan. And so the funding for the processing of the samples actually comes from the towns. They do put in a portion of money to actually have Bard process the samples. And we also do get donations from the public as well. And we go from Hillsdale all the way down to the outlet down in Germantown. And we petitioned the DEC to have a sub watershed of the Rojan being tested, and they accepted our application and gave us our sampling schedule that they will be doing on what is called the Punch Brook. So it's kind of two separate things. So the DEC will be doing that on the Punch Brook, and the watershed community will be doing the main stem of the Rojan. And we're always looking for volunteers. It's a lot of fun to do, and feel free to you can contact me or and we can get you in on a sampling team.
You're muted, Michael.
Put that on your to-do list. David, did you get your questions addressed or comments?
I just wanted to add, I think everyone on this call knows, but it's worth communicating to people that composting, especially when you live in a rural area, But even if you don't, if you're in a suburb, you have a small yard, it's not rocket science. You can get a PhD in really advanced composting, and there is a lot to learn there. So I don't want to underscore that. A very good compost is made with a lot of intention and a recipe and attention to temperature and other things. But a passive compost, which is what most of us would do in our backyard, is very simple. And I think we've just been attuned and we've been programmed to see all of our waste go away. So everything we produce that we don't think we need or can't use readily, we want to go away. And it's very, I mean, that's why composting is so powerful, because it's an example of something that is so basic but can be reused very easily. So I would just encourage people, without a big plastic container, without a big to just put put a couple piles in the backyard and add your veggie scraps. And if you can't and you want to bring it to the county, great, that's another option. So I just think it's worth all of us kind of checking in on that, letting people know. I don't know if there's something we can do to educate people further on that. I do know that at the Climate Carnival this summer, there'll be at least a couple booths that will be addressing this question.
Exactly. Yeah, there are some things that would make people feel more comfortable about it. I operate 2 cubic yard compost piles in my yard, which is only 20 by 40, and that takes care of all of our vegetable waste. So it's not a hard thing to do. So Karen, something you're handing
Yeah,
up?
just on the composting topic, there's companies in urban centers that are charging $33 a month to pick up a weekly, it's a weekly pickup of your food scraps. And what you get from it is, so literally $33 to $35 a month for compost. And granted, this is, a densely populated areas and urban centers. People are living in apartments, but what they get from it is 2 bags of compost at the end of the season. So to Tara's point, I think people do want to see, and it's good for people to understand the circularity of all of this, but we're not charging for compost drop off at this point. So, maybe when we start charging for it, people will get something from it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
Stephen.
have a.
Oh, pardon me.
sorry.
Go ahead, Tara.
I was just gonna say, because we have bears here where I am pretty regularly, like last night. But we have the barrel I got on Amazon. It's enclosed because I was concerned about them getting into the pile if something wasn't, something was smelling good. I don't know that they ever had before, but I decided to enclose it. And we compost everything regularly here all year round, but I don't get a tremendous volume. It's just my husband and I. And I get, I got I might have gotten maybe a bag worth from everything that I composted last season that I just emptied out of it to start a new batch. So it's good. It's good. It's not a lot for if you want to use it in your garden. So it would be good if there was a place you could go and get some more.
Exactly. Okay, Stephen, what's going on at the college?
Well, so sorry, I had to figure out how to hit the unmute button. Actually, there's not a huge amount since last month. John and I think David, I emailed you guys with a couple dates for us to potentially meet with regard to the Climate Carnival. I didn't pass the dates by Rebecca Pinder yet, but we're coming quickly to the end of the semester, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to get in touch with you guys. I did talk a little bit with somebody in the admissions office, and I know that they can potentially provide information for us so we could maybe have a table at the climate carnival. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. So just look for that email from me, and we'll move forward from there. Not directly related to Columbia County, but something I think it's worth sharing with everybody is some of you may know that the college has a research field station over on the other side of the Hudson River. It's a very nice place, but it didn't have electricity or water, and we've been working hard on getting an upgrade to that station, and it looks like right now, with the help of the Greene County Legislature, that we're going to get a significant amount of money to actually upgrade the station. So it's going to become what I would call a more usable public space. It's on public property. You can take a walk down to it now, but we're looking to actually have like an ADA compatible like bathroom installed and electricity run to it and water. And so we're hoping in the future that that'll become a better community resource. So I don't know how many of you go down to the river, look for new places to access the river, but it's a very nice site. I want to say it was built in the late 1990s. So it's been there for quite a while, and the college has used it for some of our classes, but we're hoping to make it even more of a community resource. So we got momentum on our side on it. And so I'm kind of happy that that's happening. I think that's about it. That's about it at the school mostly right now, because we're trying desperately to finish up the semester, and all of us are kind of head down and doing a lot of grading. So, but yeah, well, definitely, John, we'll talk hopefully in the next couple of weeks and try and expand the partnership for Climate Carnival.
Great.
Great.
Okay.
And Stephen, can you tell us where that site is on the other side of the river?
That's a great question.
Is it the Livingston Ramhorn, that trail? Do you access it down there?
I don't know enough about it to give you guys the exact name right off the top of my head. There is actually, I'll tell you what, if you, Michael, go on to the next person and I'll get the name and I'll post it in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. Well, or you could just send me an email and we'll pass it around. So that might be easier to do. All right. So that's our agenda. Anybody else have anything they'd like to bring up? Okay. Hearing nobody right there, I suggest we take a motion to adjourn. And
one question: do we ever want to meet in person again?
well, I asked that of my contact at the county, and they said not yet.
Okay.
Meaning
Okay.
today.
Yeah.
But certainly, depending on how the COVID numbers go, it could very well be next month. But one way
Okay.
or another, I'll keep you up to date on that.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure. Okay. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Good talks. Nice to see you. And perhaps next time we'll get to see each other face to face. All right. Good night, all.
Night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Right.